Hey everybody, it's Candy, aka Brown Eyed Girl 69. How y'all doing today? Well, it is Wednesday, January the 3rd. Or is it January 2nd? No, it's January the 3rd. That's right. Wednesday, January the 3rd. And sometime approximately in the afternoon, sometime, I'm not for sure. Doesn't matter. Things I'm going to discuss are going to be things that I discuss. I'm going to talk about some things that I've been realizing myself, about things that we don't realize sometimes. And I guess I'm going to talk about the things I'm grateful for in 2024 thus far, even though we're only into the third day. So I guess I'll get on with it. While I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to be doing some other things. So I'm basically just going to be myself and conversating. Only after I take a hit off of this bubbler, but it's clogged. Yeah, I'll just reload another one. No. Okay. I don't even know where I should start, really, because there's just so many trails that one can go down, you know? Let's just say that when I was a kid, I never really had one specific thing in mind that I, gravitated to. I didn't have a specific passion or obsession with anything. I took a liking to a lot of things. I liked sports. I liked playing ball when I was a kid. I liked riding my bike. I liked climbing trees. I liked playing outside with my friends. I liked playing on, playground sets, like slides and merry-go-rounds and things of that nature, At the time, at home, I had my own set of toys. I had a lot of stuffed animals. I had games. I had stuff to make, be creative. I had coloring books, paints, books just to read, records to listen to. I had this little play cash register when I was a little kid, and I was probably 3, maybe 4 when I got it, maybe 5. And I used to play with it probably up until I was probably about 8, 9 years old. I played with this thing, and I can remember, I can't even remember how old I was when I was playing this game, but I had to have been older. So I probably would have been somewhere around 5, 6 years old, maybe 7. And going grocery shopping, I liked going grocery shopping with my mom because it got me out of the house. I got to see people I knew. I liked watching her shop. I liked being able to actually go over to sometimes and look at the magazine section or look at the records or look at the other stuff they had for sale while she did the shopping, The bread man, his name was Carl, and he was the Rainbow Bread Man. That's what I knew him by for a long time. So if he was in the store putting bread in the store, of course I'd see him and other people that knew me. I guess my point about all this is, after we would get the groceries and come home, Mom would want to put them away, but I'd always tell her, no, let me put them away. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I got to check them in. So we would open up the shelves, and I would sit down on the floor with my play cash register, and I would take them out of the sacks and pretend I was scanning them while I put them up on the shelf. Sometimes I would actually take them out of the shelf and put them, and I'd scan them and pretend I was putting them in the the sack. I would put them in the sack. I would play this game. No, I wouldn't say for hours, but I would play this game non-stop for quite a while, actually, Usually my mom would have to tell me that I needed to find something else to do. That I needed to put the cans in the cabinet and get all my toys and go into my room and find something else to do, usually, after I'd been doing it for a while. Also, as a child, when I was like 7 years old, I remember going to the gas station with my mom and being kind of like, wow, these guys that air up the tires, put gas in the car, check under the hood, clean the windshield, etc., because it was different back then. Full service. You got full service. They gave it to you. And, I was just like, always impressed by that. And at one point in time, I told my mother that that's what I wanted to do. That I wanted to do that job, and she asked me why, and I said, because it looks like fun. I guess the reason why I'm telling you a couple of these little stories is because later in life, that's what I went on to do. I went on to become a cashier. I went on in my life to become, I've worked in fast food industry. I worked in casual restaurants, and I worked in a couple of high-end restaurants before. I've done kitchen work. I've done prep work. I know how to run a drive-thru. I know how to work in a kitchen. I know how to run a front register. I know how to give customer service. I worked in grocery stores. I worked in a payday loan company before. That was like an office type setting. I did a what they called a courier kind of job back when I was in my early 20s. I had an actual CB radio installed in my truck, and I would come out in my truck every morning and call in, and they would write me down. And as soon as I got a call, I'd go on the call, and I'd go pick up what I needed to pick up, deliver it to where I needed to deliver it, which would then put me in a different zone. So whenever I was free and available again, then I just call in and tell them, this is number 3 calling in zone blah, blah, blah. So they would know who was in what zone. So when the calls come through, they would know who to give the calls to. That was way before Uber or DoorDash or Lyft or any of that, even was a thought in somebody's mind. So I've done that type of job before. I've worked in warehouses before. I've worked through temporary services before. I've just done all sorts of different types of work before, but most of my jobs do involve working with food and the public in somehow, some way. I currently do work at a grocery store in my local small town, and that's what I do. I ring customers up, and I bag their groceries and send them on their way. Sometimes I see the same people 2 or 3 times a day. It's ridiculous when you live in a small town and you can just go to the grocery store that's less than 5-minute drive down the road. So if you forget something, it's no big deal. You can go back 30 minutes later and get whatever else you need, along with a couple more items that you discovered you needed. And that's how it seems to work in my town anyway. We do have Walmart on the other end of town, and they're always busy too, but it's weird. Since I started running at Cash Savers, I don't go to Walmart no more. If I do go to Walmart, I go maybe once a month. And I'll usually go if it's for something that's like, I don't know, something that I might find that I feel I can get a little cheaper than going to Cash Savers or Dollar Tree. I guess that part of what I'm talking about is just telling you the discovery of realizing that I've always enjoyed being of service to others. That's who I am. That's part of who I am, is being of service to others, holding the balance of people. I was talking to another friend of mine today and came to a realization today, kind of smacked me in the face, that I'm always attracted to, not, I wouldn't say the exact opposite of myself, but some inversion of myself. Usually with how somebody's raised or the type of relationship they had with their parents might be an inversion of how I had a relationship with my parents. That's just an example. One example. I might be attracted to somebody who's really quiet and reserved, and they only speak when they feel like it's the right time to speak about anything. Or if it's on a subject matter that they're really into or have a passion for in life. I'm usually the one that's more talkative, outgoing, social. They're more the quiet, reserved type of person. Now that I haven't been in a relationship, I find myself being both of those people. I find myself being the outgoing, talkative one at given points in time. And then there's times when I'm really quiet and reserved and keep to myself, and I only speak or give information when and as if needed, if and as needed. So that's about a lot of the things I've been discovering, just thinking back on life and some of my relationships and looking at some of the dynamics and the scale of balance, however you want to look at it, and then just looking at some of the things that you went through and where you are today in comparison, and realizing that you thinking your whole life that you're basically a nothing, because in society's eyes you truly are nothing because you're down on the bottom of the totem pole, right? But in reality, you're part of the glue that holds everything together. And having a realization of that now, at the age of 54, it's kind of something emotional for me. I'm trying to process all these new feelings, awarenesses, emotions, the energy that's coming in and going, and it's been an emotional day for me. I basically woke up crying. No, not literally, but I feel like that. I've been crying pretty much since I woke up this morning. Just trying to process the emotions that I've been going through. And that's just within my own personal self. That doesn't include trying to deal with anything with anybody else, or anybody on YouTube or Facebook or any of the society, social media rigmarole, I guess is a good word I can use. Drama, whatever you want to call it. Not everybody's drama, but there's always something going on with somebody somewhere, And it's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, Some people are celebrating things in life right now. Some people have just lost somebody in life right now. Some people have just gotten hurt. Some people have just died. Some people are being born. So many things going on right now here in this given moment in time while I'm sitting here talking to you all. All these things that are taking place out in our world. Honestly though, it is kind of, when you sit and think about the bigger picture of things sometimes. And how big this place truly is, and how many people are truly walking around, and all the experiences we're having, and how we're all still here and haven't blown each other up yet, even though there's people out there that are so bound and determined to try to push a button and blow everything up to oblivion just so they can have more control, so they can have more power for their insatiable greed of whatever it is they have an insatiable greed for. It's never satisfied, you know? It's hard for me to believe that people on this planet like that actually exist. It's hard for me to fathom how a person can exist like that. How can they live with themselves, truly? How can people like that truly live with themselves? It blows me away. It truly blows me away. And to think that there's more than one of those types of people, and those people are the ones that are in our government. Those are the people that are making the choices for us. And yet we just sit back and do nothing about it? Like, really? I mean, come on, people. When are people going to grow a backbone and say no more? You know, here I talk about all these things about my own personal life, but when it comes down to it, each person needs to take personal responsibility for their life. Once they take personal responsibility for their life and start setting boundaries and saying no more, then that's when this world will change, because then people will actually start standing up for themselves. You know, I don't get it. I don't get why people won't stand up for themselves. What are they afraid of? That's what I want to know. What are people so afraid of? Why are people afraid to stand up for themselves? Why are people afraid to tell the government to go take a flying leap? We're not going to do what you tell us to do. You can't tell us what to do. And you're not going to tell us what to do. And if you try to tell us what to do, then sorry, you're fired. Oh, and you there in the back, yeah, y'all are all fired as well. Y'all go find another job making a measly $7.75 an hour or $15 an hour. Minimum wage is what they're trying to push now. Well, I guess people know that the more they push for these higher wages, minimum wages, that's why the cost of everything's going up. Duh. Sometimes I wonder if it's done purposely, which I know a lot of it's done purposely, but we also aren't helping things in the scheme of things, in all the matters. Because that's what they do. They put an idea into our head, and then some people let the idea kind of just go in one ear and out the other, and they don't really think about it. And then there's other people that get fixated on it, and then that's when all these uprisings come. Because people get fixated on a specific idea, and they can't let it go until it's resolved one way or another. So like minimum wage, going up to $15 an hour. They'll do it. But then the cost of living will go up again. The cost of your rent, the cost of your utilities, the cost of your food. And it's already outrageous as it is. Enough as it is. Here's one example. I started smoking cigarettes back in 1983. They were $1 a pack. That was with tax. Now, Daryl, he was born in 1960, and he started smoking cigarettes in 1972 when he was 12. They were 50 cents a pack. That was with tax. So they were half what I paid. Alright, so just from 1972 to 1983, which is 9 years, they went from 50 cents to $1 a pack. So they jumped twice the price in 9-year period. Now here we are in 2023, 40 years later, and cigarettes are basically $10, $11, $12 a pack. Are you flipping kidding me? That's flipping ridiculous. And nobody's showing any outrage. But here's the thing. They're also the ones that pushed those products on us to get us addicted to these things. And unless one has the own self willpower to put things down and walk away from them, never to return to them again, they're always going to be enslaved to that. Somehow, some way. Unless they can find a cheaper alternative around it. But yeah, we the people need to do something. It's ridiculous. I'm having all these realizations about my own personal self. And my life's going pretty good right now. I do have a job. I have a roof. I have food. I have the things I need, in the here, the now, the moment. Because that's what's important, right? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not here. Doesn't mean I'm going to go out and spend every last penny that I have frivolously. Because today is, the right here, right now. And that tomorrow doesn't count because, my rent's due or whatever. But that's not my point in this matter. My point in this is that we're living in the here, the now, the moment. And we need to be grateful for what we have in the here, the now, the moment. Because you never know. Tomorrow we might wake up and it might be gone. However that might be. You never know. You might lose a family member. You never know what can happen within a 24-hour period of time. That's why I always try to just say take life one day at a time because that's all you got anyway, No use in fretting over things you can't control. And reality is you can't control anybody but yourself. And you can't be controlled unless you allow it. So when people wake up to that realization that they can't be controlled unless they allow it, and they can't control others other than themselves, then I think this world will start getting up and getting on and beyond this prehistorical bullshit that they've been shoving down our throats for the last few thousand years. And we've just been consistently going along. Well, it's time we stopped going along to get along. And it's time we start standing up for ourselves. Because if we aren't, then humanity is truly going to be doomed. I don't like to look at life like that. I don't like to look at life as black and white. I try to see the good and the bad and everything. I try to see the balance in everything. I try to see both sides of the coin in everything that I do, everything I experience, To me, it is all about balance. Anyways, y'all have a blessed day. Y'all have an awesome, wonderful, amazing hump day of the week of the first week of January of 2024. That'll be another video I have to make sometime about the months and how we are not living in the cycles that we should be living in, but we are living in the cycles that they want us to live in. And we have been living in these cycles for quite some time. But I'm hoping that over the next course of the next few decades that people will be waking up and things will start changing. I don't know if I'll see any of it in my lifetime, but I know I've seen a lot of change in just the life that I have lived. From the moment I was born until now, I've seen a lot of change in a lot of different ways, both good and bad, Like I said, looking at the balance side of things, my moon's in Libra, and Libra's all about balance, so there you go. Anyways, my timer's, moving down, folks. So y'all have a blessed one, and we'll talk at you soon on the next go around. Until then, peace.